Lovely. Peeing out like a good one. Okay, one bit I didn't show being stripped down. I've just realised I haven't done it yet, and that's this end cap. I'm slightly concerned about this end cap because, as let me just put some more shit on this. As I think you might be able to see, there's quite a lot of wear on there. However, you can't seem to buy the end caps separately in this country. I can see them available in Australia when they have a steel plate let in there, which makes a lot more sense, but they just don't seem to be available in the UK. So we've got to make do with what we've got. Let's pop off this end. All right, it's got a hole straight through. Copper O-ring. We'll renew that. Now, get out our trusty tweezers. There's a spring. You see that? Where are we? Spring. A plunger. There's other stuff down there. Looks as though there's a filter there. See if we can... Okay. There's a little spring. You can see, which I think goes inside the bigger spring. Oh, brilliant. There comes the filter. Now I can see the remnants of a fibre washer in there. I don't know if you can see down there. So that'll need to come out. And you can see the remnants of a fibre washer on there as well. Right, here we go. Got all the crud out in the end. Look, you can see there was this little spring right in the end which came out. And also, what I didn't show you was on this little plunger, there's a little, I don't know what it is, valve, something or other. Little slug of metal in there that's got to go up and down fairly freely, so they tell me. This clutch basket. The governor basket, I mean. Shoving down the end. So now we've turned it round. The governor basket there is pushed right home. That's pushed all the way in. So what I've done here, because I don't have a pair of circuit pliers, I've compressed it a bit in the vise, wired it together, and now that just gives me enough clearance to get it in there. Line it up on the mark. You can see there, just about see there, there's the mark. So I'm going to faff around and try and get that right, and then we'll clip the wire and hopefully all will be well. Right, well I reckon that's lined up about right, so let's see if we can carefully tap this home. But essentially that wire's now slack. Right, I've got to screw that in. So far so easy, but then I've got to find a way of finagling that ball into that spring catch at the same time as getting that over a stud, and then finding out what the hell I did with that. Oh yeah, and that bolt there is this fancy bleed nut. So those are the pieces I've got to bring together and then check that it's all lined up on the circlip. Hey, look, I think we got away with it. Wasn't actually as difficult as I thought it would be. I managed to prise the spring in here back with a screwdriver, ease the ball in, and then it just snapped into place. On that, there's a little cam just there that sticks out. And what I've got to do is line that up with the right shaped hole on there. You can just see the outer edge. I can't point to it. Can you see that there? Bottom left corner. It's a bit tricky with the camera in the way. I said this before. So that's in now. All right, so now we're moving to the top. The first thing to go in is the metering tab. We're going to drop that in the hole. Two flats that and that sit on down there. All right, that looks like it could be the go. The flats are on the, is it governor basket? Inside, there's like a sort of a spacer, cunningly shaped spacer. Right, so now we've done that, let's bugger it all up. Hook the, I think he called it metering bar. Oh dear, that's a little tight. Here, there we go. Right, remember this? Look, that side, and then ta-da! Brand new, the other side, and it is reversible, so I'm going to reverse it. If you see these lock tabs have a little tab sticking out that side, little tab sticking out that side. They're not for bending up. The prongy bits are for bending up. What these are tabs for the gasket to sort of go under. You see that? There are these tabs there, and they kind of go underneath there. And the reason for that is just to make it more bloody fiddly for you when you're putting stuff together. Just to make sure that these don't foul the edge of the cover. As in fact is exactly the case happening here. So obviously that doesn't go on that way around. That one's fouling, so maybe they go that way around, and that goes like that, maybe. Now, even though they're not in yet, I probably tightened that down too soon. I think that's supposed to go under there, you know, and look, it's fouling that at the moment, so I'm going to bend those up. So you go in there, there we are, look. Okay, so that little tab provides a guide for that. Probably going to have my hands in the way. Next up we're doing this bit. Now we were middle and middle, so that's the middle hole there. And then with my other two hands, we leave that there. What I don't want to do is drop that down inside. Middle and middle, right? Shove that through. And the middle one. And then just dump it there, is it? Or is it like that or something? The stopper, you can push it up inside the cover now, so that's one less thing to faff around with, because we're going to have to faff a bit with the other. Oh, that went in easy. Yeah, that's nice. So I'm going to try and get you in the hole. and then get you over the two studs. There you go, look. That all the way over there, and you turn that, it turns that. So at least we know they're connected, I think. And now, there's no problem with that bloody spring on there. Turn that, and it turns it. We're now getting to a point where we're properly reassembling this. So we've got these covers that go on. Right, so that's stopping me getting the proper angle on it. So I'm going to take it off a bit. This is the idle, I believe. There you go. Now that sits on there because I can get the angle. You do actually get a nylock in the kit, but I kind of like the traditional look. I think I found the bite of it there. You can see that's where the rod comes. Seems to be there's one way it can go, really. I think these just can go on any way, really. Slot you in. Slot you in. Let's line him up. So here we've got, this is the order that stuff goes into that end cap. Your little hairspring here goes all the way down the bottom. Next in you've got this little tube. Then you've got this little slug, plunger slug, that goes inside there. So it's a bit of a fiddle to get it in apparently. So that little spring goes on top of that, inside that. And you've got this sort of cap thing here, with a little recess on it that sits in the top of that. Then this spring sits on top of that. And then you've got the filter. I'm actually reusing my old filter. It's in excellent shape. I've cleaned it out and the build quality is several hundred times better than the cruddy one I got with the kit. Little hairspring spring. I'm going to try and put him down. Yep, bang in there. You see in there? Not really. Maybe you can, yeah, you can just see that spring. How about that? This sort of tubey thing. I managed to put on, well, it's supposed to be a fibre washer. Actually, it was just two washers cut out of a bit of gasket paper. But I managed to kind of sleeve them on. They were a bit tight, but I managed to get them on without buggering things up. So that goes in with the washer down. So let's drop him in. Little plunger thing. Let's see if we can get a hole in one. Haha, can we, Hal? Go on. Here he goes. Now, he's supposed to go down under his own weight, but there's just too much air pressure there. It's a pretty good fit. So next up we've got the little spring. We go for the hole in one. We've got to get it one day. We got this curious little thing, and that's got to go. It's basically a cap by the look of it. And the end there, you can see the marks. The end there bears on the, presumably bears on the top of the little spring we just put in. Let's drop him in. Still no hole in one. Here we go, the final big spring that sits on top of that, and that little sort of bell end on the top of the whatnot acts as a retainer. We got this filter. Just shove that down. There we go. New copper washer. £15/16. Bet you £1 to a pot of piss. There we go. You owe me £1. Right, so that's the, I've done that one already. You weren't looking. That's the other bleed screw, the higher one. I can't really see from the other side, so do me a favour, give me a shout if you see it fizzing and popping, would you? There we go, I see him. Lovely. Peeing out like a good one.